the best of the rest of the news. Beef, it's what's for dinner. And thanks to new rules issued by the USDA, it could come complete with a healthy serving of deadly disease. Late this month, the government overturned decades of precedent by lifting import restrictions on beef from Argentina and Brazil. The cattle industry in both of those countries has a history of foot and mouth disease, a virus that hasn't been seen here in the United States since the 1920s. But thanks to the USDA, that could be about to change, and food safety experts are furious. Joining me now for more on this is Patty Levera, Assistant Director of Food and Water Watch. Patty, welcome back.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Great to have you with us. This really boggles the mind. Here we have a disease that we basically got rid of in the United States, and this decision by U.S. regulators could bring it back. What's going on?
So this is a really classic example of the emphasis on trade and, allowing these companies to move stuff wherever they want, just trumping everything else. So you're exactly right. So this is an animal disease. It has terrible economic consequences for the industry if it happens here, for the cattle industry. People might remember the UK had an outbreak of foot and mouth disease about 10 years ago.
Yeah, they got quarantined.
Hundreds of millions of dollars in damage, millions of cattle destroyed. Because it's the only way you can deal with this disease. It's so contagious. And so for many decades, our approach has been, if you have it in your country, we don't take your products, period. Live animals, meat, and that's worked pretty well. But the constant drumbeat of we have to import more, we have to trade more, starts chipping away at these kind of common sense standards.
I understand the USDA cut some corners to do this rule. Can you elaborate on it?
So a lot of this is about when you start getting into these justifications, how could they justify making this rule change that's worked so well? You get into a lot of kind of the double speak about how you change rules, risk assessments, those kinds of things. And there's a lot of concerns that they didn't really properly evaluate this risk. And actually yesterday, the House Appropriations Committee passed the budget for USDA for next year, and they did include language that said do it over. Redo this assessment. You can't bring this product in until you redo that risk assessment and come tell us about it.
There have been some people who have suggested that this was just essentially a gift to the president of Brazil when she came to visit, so that we could import Brazilian meat. Do you give any credence to that?
The timing is remarkable, and this has happened before on other issues. So one other kind of similarly controversial idea is bringing in chicken products from China. We don't need to import chicken. We raise an enormous amount of chicken here. But for years, there's been an effort to bring in chicken products from China because the labor there is so much cheaper. That process got announced that it was finalized when the president of China was visiting. This process about allowing Brazilian beef in got announced the week that the Brazilian president was visiting.
I actually heard that we are growing chicken here and then shipping dead but unplucked chickens to China, where they pluck them, process them, package them, and then freeze them, and then ship them back to the United States. Is that true?
That's the proposal that's on the table. And it sounds crazy, because it is crazy, but that's kind of a halfway step. So that's the proposal that's on the table. It's not actually happening yet, but there's a couple more steps to go, but it could happen. Wow. But that's really the halfway step to open the door for chickens raised in China to end up coming here.
Right. The World Trade Organization recently ruled that we were in violation of their rules by putting a sticker on a piece of meat that says this meat came from Argentina or Brazil or Zimbabwe or whatever. Mm-hmm. Why are we moving backwards on food safety?
We're moving backwards on food safety because of this obsession with trade, and trade that benefits multinational companies. And, the meat industry hates country of origin labeling. They don't want consumers to know where their food comes from. They went after the law that gives us those labels. They went after it in the U.S. courts. They went after it in Congress, and they failed because this is a common sense law. They had to go to the WTO and challenge it there. They got Canada and Mexico to do their dirty work for them. And as soon as that decision came back, the House caved and they repealed that law. The Senate hasn't done it yet, so we're still fighting to maintain that law. Interesting.
When you hear stories like that, are they cautionary tales about the Trans-Pacific Partnership and these other trade deals that are coming down the road?
Absolutely. I mean, this is damage that's done under the last generation of trade deals, let alone this new one, which, for whatever we know about the secret contents of the TPP, could be worse, could be more venues for our domestic standards to be attacked. So why would we have more of these deals? It doesn't make any sense.
Do you think when it drops in Congress, we're going to have 30 days to look at it? Do you think that there's going to be a careful analysis of it, or do you think it's just going to get pushed right through?
I think the careful analysis is going to come from people outside Congress, and we're going to have to take
Like
it
you.
to them. And labor unions and environmental groups and people who work on prescription drug access, right? I mean, there's a million things that could be wrong in that deal. And you know, it's the coalition that fought fast track, and we're going to have to go fight TPP.
Yeah, and there's going to be a lot of pages to read.
Divide and conquer. Yeah.
Yeah, split it up,
Yeah.
share the work. Patty, you're doing God's work. You're doing
Thanks.
marvelous work. Thanks so much. Patty.